to Build Proposition Lab at DevOps Belgium 2024, and my next guest is Sebastien from the Spring team. Welcome.
Thanks.
So Sebastien, you mentioned that you work on efficiency-related topics within the Spring project.
Yeah.
What does it mean? What kind of improvements, efficiency improvements?
Yeah, so basically our goal is to make it possible to run Spring Boot application on cheaper servers, be able to scale to zero on Kubernetes platforms with Spring Boot. And so the Spring team has been involved in various topics like allowing to compile Spring Boot application to native executable with GraalVM. So I have been leading that effort, and now it's integrated into Spring Boot. I'm collaborating with the wider Spring team on supporting Crack, CDS, Project Leiden, and just general performance and efficiency improvements to make it possible for Spring Boot developers to run in a better way their application on production.
So let me challenge you here for a second. So when you speak about efficiency, I think the implied efficiency is production efficiency. Running on cheaper servers, having smaller executables, this kind of stuff. But it is usually perceived that the production efficiency is a trade-off, that there is a trade-off between production efficiency and development efficiency. For example, the trivial example is the compile time of using GraalVM versus not using GraalVM, right? So are there aspects of efficiency that can be gained on both fronts, both production and development, or is it necessarily, well, you develop once, so you can sacrifice that for the purpose of running more efficiency in production?
Yeah, that's a very good question, and we are working a lot on that because indeed, for example, GraalVM is a good example of you are going to get faster startup, lower memory consumption, peak performance available immediately, but at the cost of very long build time and compatibility issues because you need to specify metadata to get reflection working, etc. And even if frameworks are helping to infer that, there is still some work remaining for the developer, and the efficiency of development, the developer experience is impacted. So this is okay for some use cases, but we are exploring some other use cases like with CDS and Project Leiden, where you don't have to pay a price in terms of developer experience locally. You keep your nice developer experience with their tools, automatic reloading, etc., and fast compilation. And it's only for your production deployment that you are going to create some optimized container images that will basically use the cache to start faster, consume less, and have better warm-up characteristics. So we try to, everything is about trade-off, it's true, but we try to make the trade-off, we try to offer options that does not impact the developer experience and still get some nice gain on production, and this is our current focus.
And for us, the Build Proposition Lab, this is the most important thing.
Okay.
We're talking about development developer productivity. So how does it work exactly? How do you manage to do the win-win of both having the amazing savings and efficiency in the runtime, but also not impact development environment?
So we are collaborating very closely with the Java platform team for a few months now on Project Leiden. And we basically try to work with them on ensuring that the promise is fulfilled and that we get that. So I think the goal is to try to get as much optimization as possible without introducing new constraints. That means that, for example, the optimization that Project Leiden are going to bring are maybe not as dramatic as native image, but we are going to go as far as possible without impacting the developer productivity and reducing the side effects.
That's the trade-off, right?
Yeah.
Maybe not as much as you could do in production, but also it won't make you suffer in development.
Yeah, and enough
what is Project Leiden? I think everybody familiar with GraalVM, and hopefully we will hear a lot about it from Alina, for example, that will talk to us later today. What is Project Leiden?
So Project Leiden is a project I think started 2 years ago. I think the first public talk was from John Rose and Mark Reynolds last year. And it intends to bring some runtime efficiency benefits to the JVM in a more progressive way than GraalVM does. And I think both approaches are pretty complementary. I mean, we continue to provide very good support on native, and native keeps being better. and we push for also an alternative that is less hardcore,
less disruptive
for the majority of developers that can't pay the price of switching to native. And I think there will be a public for both, but maybe Project Leiden will basically have a wider market share. And also Project Leiden is a continuation of a very old and mature technology that we have currently in the JVM, which is class data sharing, CDS. So basically the IoT cache feature of Project Leiden is a kind of a better, faster CDS that also adds some warm-up improvement in addition to the startup improvement.
So we're talking about class level sharing, caching in the end of the day. That's what Project Leiden is.
It's basically pre-computing the loading of the classes, pre-computing some class path check, and basically is moving to the build time some work that were previously done at the runtime, and that's how we achieve to get better performance. Also, just a small thing, you mentioned developer experience. We can improve developer experience by switching things on build side. For example, we have these Spring ahead of time optimizations that we have created for native that are also useful for Project Leiden and CDS. And for example, we are experimenting by doing more stuff like view template compilation at build time to get basically the warning and the errors before. We are also working in the next Spring Framework 7 version of getting full null safety for most Spring APIs and get plugins like NullAway that will check null safety at build time in order to raise the error before you ship that to production and avoid null pointer exception. So I think that also helps the developer experience to know that upfront.
Absolutely, of course. And speaking about null safety, that brings me to another topic that you mentioned. We can use programming languages that guarantee null safety, like Kotlin. And there are developments at this front as well with Spring Framework.
Yeah, so we have, I think, a pretty good Kotlin support in Spring Framework, but we are going to bring it to the next level in Spring Framework 7 by using Kotlin 2 baseline. So we are also going to collaborate with the Kotlin team to improve the runtime efficiency of Kotlin to have zero overhead compared to a Java application and even go faster with value classes, another Kotlin nice feature. And also we try to bring Kotlin null safety benefits to the Java ecosystem by leveraging in Spring Framework 7 a project called gspecify, which is annotation that will be used to replace the GSR 305, a very old and never released GSR, to provide basically full null safety on Spring Framework and likely other Spring portfolio projects.
This is very cool. Sebastien, today I learned a lot. I hope we all learned a lot. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thanks for the invitation.
And we're looking forward to the Spring Framework 7 with all those improvements.
Yeah, and don't miss my talk about Project Leiden with the Java platform team. This is the last slot this afternoon.
Here we go. I wanted to learn more about Project Leiden. I have an opportunity to do that. And this is DevOps for you, folks. You learn a lot. Stay tuned for more episodes of Build Proposition Lab. We have lots of more coming. See ya.
Thanks.